limit is y goes to 0 of sine of 2y times cosine of 3y divided by the sine of y. The first thing we're going to do is try plugging a 0 in for each of the y's. So that will give us sine of 2 times 0 times the cosine of 3 times 0 divided by the sine of 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. The sine of 0 equals to 0. The cosine of 0 equals to 1. So we have a 0 times 1 over a 0. 0 times 1 is 0 over 0. So we have the 0 over 0 indeterminate form. Since we have sine functions of different phases, we're going to make use of the identity that limit as theta goes to 0 of sine of theta over theta equals the limit as theta goes to 0 of theta over sine theta. It can be either of these, and it's equal to 1. We have a sign in both the numerator and denominator. We're going to isolate those, so I'm going to write this as sine of 2y over something, and then something over sine of y. You have to keep the signs in their correct positions, numerator and denominator. And then we also have a cosine of 3y that I'm going to put off to the side. Now what we have to do is match the phase in the other position. So we have a sine of 2y, the phase is the 2y. We need to match it in the other position. It's in the numerator. We need a 2y in the denominator. We'll put it in the denominator. And then over here we'll put a 2y in the numerator with this cosine of 3y. Now just the same, we have a sine y, which has a phase of y in the denominator. We need a y in the numerator. So we match the phase, and then to compensate, we'll put a y in the denominator over here in this other fraction. In this other fraction, these y's can cancel, so let's go ahead and cancel those out. And that's going to give us limit as y goes to 0 of sine of 2y over 2y times y over sine of y times 2 cosine of 3y. The first two fractions, we have matched the phase in the other position with the sine function, and each of those have the perfect form to be a limit value of 1, so those will each become a 1. We should no longer have 0 over 0. Instead we have 1 times 1 times 2 times the cosine of 3 times 0. 1 times 1 times 2 is 2. Cosine 3 times 0 is a 0. The cosine of 0 equals to 1, so we have 2 times 1, which is a 2.